What Do We Do? A podcast discussing wealth management and financial planning, introducing listeners to the leaders in our community. Hosted by the founder and CEO of Great Lakes Wealth, Dewey Steffen, alongside WWJ Midday News anchor, Brooke Allen.
Hey, I'm Brooke Allen. Our goal with the What Do We Do podcast is to educate listeners on topics that impact your financial growth, your retirement, and your lifestyle.
And I'm Dewey Steffen. Join us twice a month as we welcome some of today's leaders in the community for conversations that can help with investment decisions so you can plan for and live your best life.
Here's Dewey Steffen alongside Brooke Allen.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the What Do We Do podcast. This is season 2, episode 21, number 63. And as a reminder, the mission of the What Do We Do podcast is to provide information to help our community invest for success and be healthy, wealthy, and wise. One way that we do this is by finding leaders in our community who have a story to tell, knowledge to share, and advice to give. Well, today's episode, we're going old school. It's an audio-only episode, and today's guest is a leader in so many ways. She's a superstar on the LPGA Tour. She's an inspiration to girls and women everywhere. As a daughter, sister, dog mom, wife, friend, business leader, and philanthropist. And I'm even going to add podcast celebrity after this is done. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd love to welcome Jessica Korda to the What Do We Do podcast. Jessica, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. What an intro.
All right. Well, good. I'm glad you approve. I'm also going to tell you there's no pressure today. Okay. I know you've won 6 times on the LPGA Tour. You have a list of credentials we're going to go through, but What Do We Do has 40,000 downloads and 350,000 total social media views.
Wow, that's
we have
awesome.
a brand new medium called TikTok. Have you heard of this?
I have heard of the TikTok.
The TikTok. We have over 300,000 views on TikTok. Okay, with that, again, we want to thank everyone for tuning in, and we ask that you follow, share, tell a friend, all of those out there in Podcast Nation, YouTube land, listening, viewing, whatever you're doing to listen to our show today, please subscribe, share, and as we say, we're just getting started. So with that, Jessica, rather than me introduce you, I think it'd be great if you introduce yourself. Would you mind real quick?
Sure. I mean, hello, everybody. I don't think I've introduced myself in a while, but this is my 12th season on the LPGA Tour. I am 29 years old, which, yes, I have been doing this for a very long time. You probably have heard of my sister Nellie, and I have a younger brother, Sebastian, who's a tennis player. And obviously, my parents being professional athletes, that rounds us up to, I think, 5 professional athletes in the family. I recently got married in December. And, just traveling the world one event at a time and taking my golden doodle Charlie everywhere I go.
Your family is known as Team Korda, and there also is something called like the Korda Slam. Can you tell us about the Korda Slam?
Yeah, so our dad won the Aussie Open in '98 in singles in Melbourne. And so when I went there in 2012, I won in a 6-person playoff at Royal Melbourne, which was really, really cool because, you know, just being so close to the history, and I haven't been there in so long. So it was really neat to be able to do that, thinking that that's where it was going to end in a sense. And then our brother started playing tennis and played really well and got in as a junior, and he won the junior singles title at the Australian Open, which was awesome. And then the pressure kind of fell on our sister Nellie, and she ended up winning a couple of years ago as well. And obviously this would all not be possible without our mom, who is the head, and then we kind of just trickle down. So technically mom has all of them, and then we just kind of trickle down from there.
Right, for sure. You can call her the boss lady,
Yes.
Right? That's awesome. Well, again, not to underwhelm you and your accomplishments, I need to let you know that you are an Olympian. You were on Team USA representing the Stars and Stripes in 2021 for the 2020 Olympics. Is that right?
Yes. So that's actually something that I keep forgetting that I have done.
Yes. And your sister won the gold medal.
Yeah.
And you two are besties, I hear. I'm pretty aware of that, right? So,
Yeah.
So I know that when she wins, you win, and together you both represented Team USA, which was certainly amazing. You've also been on 3 U.S. Solheim Cups, and I believe that that's very important in your credentials as well.
Yeah, it's, anytime you get to represent the United States in anything is incredible. This past weekend they played the Curtis Cup, which is United States against Great Britain and Ireland. It's an amateur event, and that's kind of almost where it started for me representing the U.S. So it's just so nice to be able to remember certain things, but definitely representing the U.S. in any team or individual competition is always so special.
And you were runner-up in the U.S. Amateur for women. You're also a 6-time winner on the LPGA Tour. And as we always say, Jess, you're just getting started.
Yes, I am.
Okay, right? You may be a veteran and one of the, house moms on the LPGA Tour at the young age of 29, but you certainly have, again, over a decade of experience because you started so young. So could you kind of walk me through your junior golf days? Did you go to traditional high school? When did you pick up sticks? And when did you turn pro? All those things.
So I started playing golf started actually getting lessons when I was about 5. I was a very active child. I was literally in every sport possible just to get tired, from gymnastics to tennis, like literally in everything in between, even dance, if you could believe that. So I did everything, and David Ledbetter had opened up an academy down in Bradenton where my parents spent a decent amount of time. And so my mom was like, we're putting you in to anything. And golf happened to be one of them. And it kind of stuck a little bit. It wasn't my favorite sport. I definitely loved figure skating and gymnastics a lot more, but having a 6-foot frame just, wouldn't bode well for me going forward. So I was kind of, deciding between tennis and golf, and I just loved golf because I could play it with anyone, and I had so many friends doing it as well, and I just loved like the competitiveness and being outside, and truthfully I hated running, so felt like golf, just walking around didn't feel that difficult at the time. So yeah, I loved doing that, and I was at the academy till I was about 15 years old, and they have a school on campus, so my days were kind of spread out between half day of school, and then we would go to the golf course, and then half day at the golf course, and then go back to school later on for whatever classes that I missed. It was called directed learning at the time, and they did a great job, giving us kind of the ability to play sport, but also get an education. And it was awesome growing up being able to do that, and ended up leaving when I was 15 to go follow a coach. And I went to a regular preparatory school where they gave you an option of going all online, or you could take courses in the class. So because I was so desperate to play professionally, and that's what I wanted to do ever since I was 15, I had class from 8 to 8:45, and then I peaced out and went to the golf course and practiced and basically did my classes during lunch break, and then I would go back to the golf course and play or whatever, and then do the rest as I went home. So I kind of did everything I could to just get out of school and go play. I did graduate on time. I was actually already out here. I was 17 when I turned pro, still a senior in high school, and I still had a good, half year left of that. I was a little tough, definitely, but the day that my class graduated was the day I finished my last course online.
So it kind of worked out with perfect timing.
Yeah.
And then with graduation of high school, but also turning pro or staying amateur, what made that decision happen?
I played in my first U.S. Women's Open when I was 15 in 2008. And after that, that's all I wanted to do. I didn't look left or right. That's all I wanted. The deal was with my parents that if they let me play Q school early, that I was gonna try it. And then if I didn't make it full status card, then I was gonna look at colleges and do all that. And there was no option of failure in my head. I was absolutely not. We're going straight to the LPGA Tour.
So school worked out.
Yes.
And then from there, it was all systems go.
Yeah.
Right. How long did it take until you had success on the tour, whether that was top 3 or winning?
A year. The first year was brutal. I was super young. At the time, the tour was a lot older than it is now. I was definitely the youngest by a lot. I was traveling with my dad, but bless his heart, traveling with an 18-year-old girl who isn't playing her best was probably really tough on him as well, and caddying for me and, trying to be like that supportive parent. But we spent way too much time together. Okay. It was brutal. It was a great learning experience. One of the many reasons why my sister ended up going to the Symetra Tour, which is now the Epsom Tour, the developmental tour, to kind of just, you go from playing 8-10 events, as a junior to going to play 20 plus events as a professional, and the travel schedule and the stress and the pressure and all of this stuff. You just don't realize the magnitude of it until you are already out here. So it's nice to have that learning when you are that young and still kind of trying to find yourself. But when I was still 18, beginning of the year in 2012, my parents were like, "You're going to Australia for 4 weeks. You're going to be playing in these events because we don't know if you're going to be in the tournament, the LPGA event at the end of like that 4-week stretch." And I was like, okay, cool. Like, I'm going to try and qualify for it, like whatever. So they sent me by myself. I was like in housing and I met a lot of cool people. That's actually where I met Lydia Ko for the first time, which was it's crazy to think that she was like 13 years old at the time. I've known her forever, but it was really cool. Like, I got to experience all these different things. And then at the end, I ended up winning in a 6-person playoff, my first ever LPGA like career title. So the story of how I got to that was pretty cool, but it's definitely been a long, windy road.
That's awesome. We always do blow-ups when we have a moment of success. Booyah.
Booyah.
Right on. That's awesome. All right, well, then we're going to fast forward to 2016. This is a very important year for you and for me. Do you know why?
I literally was like, wait, what did I do? And then I just realized where we're going with this.
You remember this year. You're never, ever going to forget this year. Okay?
How could I?
I mean, it's the year that we met, okay? And we played a round of golf. And I told you we played a practice round. It wasn't a pro-am. We just played a round together the Monday or Tuesday before you played the Volvic in Ann Arbor. And we met on the first tee. And I had a superhero hat. I had a Captain America hat going on. I don't know if you remember.
I do.
And you're like, what are you doing? And I said, hey, Jessica, nice to meet you. I'm here, and I am here to take this seriously, and I'm going to take you down. And I think you smiled and laughed just like you are right now.
Probably.
You're like, right on, dude, whatever. Anyway, so we played that round. It was great. I got to meet you and your agent, Chris, and we had some great laughs. You taught me a few things about the game. If you remember, I did play college golf as well, and I captained my team many, many moons ago. I don't even know what moons those were, but we had a lot of fun. And then you went out and competed that whole week, and you almost won the dang tournament. And when we fist bumped at the end of our round, I said, play well, and I think you got this. And you were either coming off of an injury or you were just trying to you weren't very confident that you were going to do well. But and then that was also something else happened that week with your sister. What was that?
Oh, she bumped me out of the top 10. Yeah, that was cool.
That was not cool, right? So, yes, so you have a great memory from the week and then a not so great memory.
It was great. She paid for the hotel room for the week. It was fantastic. I ended up winning that week.
There you go. The hashtag winning. That's great. Also, though, and we have a picture here on the table of you holding up a peace sign with your ball. And you're actually not holding up a peace sign. You're holding up 2 number 1s, okay? And because I told you at the time that whenever I played sports, I was always number 11. And at the time, I had 2 young boys. I also have a daughter, but that my boys always wear number 11. And in our household, number 11, we say sticks. 1 stick and 2 stick. Okay, so you can say peace. And you said, I use number 11 on my ball. Do you still use number 11?
No, that left with the sponsorship I had.
Is that right? Okay, well, then we'll tear that picture out the window.
But I still have a bunch of golf balls with the number 11 on it. It's always really special. And I posted about it a couple of weeks ago. I continuously look at my phone when it is 11:11, whether it's AM or PM. It's like I just have like a weird thing with it.
Okay. Do you have a number you use now, or you just write your name and number all over, whatever it is?
No, I go 1, 2, 3, 1.
1, 2, 3, 1, and you get the Sharpie out and you put a little smiley face on the ball.
1 dot above the Titleist, and
okay.
just a line. Never seen it before. I'm sure it's a completely original, one of a kind marking.
Right.
Never seen it before.
No, right. Everyone in the group has the same marking, probably. That's fantastic. Well, let's skip a few years until just recently. You got married. Mm-hmm. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
You and Johnny had been dating for quite a while, right? So a relationship that we want to know, do you go by Jessica Korda still, or is it Jessica Del Preti?
Yeah, no, Jessica Korda for now.
Okay.
Definitely anything to do with golf. I will forever be Jessica Korda. So, yeah.
I like it. It's Madonna. You're just Jessica Korda.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I actually have a last name.
Right. Well, I was going to say you would just be Korda, but then again, with the Fab Five.
There's too many of us.
The Fab Five, right. That's fantastic. Okay, but along those lines, with marriage and just maturity, and we talked, again, before the show started, about you're not the youngster. You're not that 15-year-old. Now you're you're the senior veteran out there, and the younger players look up to you. The sponsors look up to you. The fans that come out, they look up to you. No pressure.
Thanks.
No pressure. It's all good.
I'm just writing this down.
Good.
Hold on.
You know what I mean? But with that, you're older. You're wiser. You're a wife now. And so how does that change, your approach to everything, whether it's approaching coming out to play a tournament, prepping, your practice, your family time, your time off. And then after that, we're going to talk about the warrior status, all these injuries that come with getting a little older also. But let's talk about, again, just your life in general.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say anything really has changed since I've been married, to be quite frank with you. It's basically the same, just some paperwork and documentation and extra bling, which I'm never going to complain about. But yeah, no, I mean, we've been together for so long, so it kind of just feels the same. And in a sense, professional athletes have to be really selfish with their time, especially when they, want to be great and have to put in the time and all that other stuff. But and he's really understanding, and so is our family, and that's kind of how it's always been. And obviously one day when I decide to step away from the game, that selfishness is going to be gone, and I will be a wife and hopefully a mother. So who knows, what that's going to look like or when, but when that time comes, I'm sure I'll be ready for it. But for now, I'm pretty happy where I am. And yes, I've always been Mama Jess on tour to my sister and her friends and whatever. Like, if anyone ever needs anything, they know that they need to call me, and I'm going to answer and all that other fun stuff. So I tend to have answers that they need. And I just have a really great friend group out here that we all can lean on each other. But I definitely have the nickname of Mama Jess.
Mama Jess.
Mama Jess.
One of your friends on tour, Michelle Wee, she just kind of recently announced the same thing. She's not retiring 100%, her words, not mine, but that she is going to not play as much and really focus on being a mom and a wife and all those things, right?
Yeah, she's in a really great place. I just saw her at the U.S. Women's Open, and I'm just really happy for her. We've been texting back and forth, and I think this is kind of just like a weight lifted off of her to be able to kind of pursue the things that she wants to pursue outside of golf. And she's dedicated so much of herself to the game. And it's nice to see someone be really happy with that next phase of their life, because you never know what it may look like. And, being injured and all that stuff that kind of comes with being an athlete. It's really tough. And I'm just glad to see that she's in such a great place where she has a beautiful daughter, an amazing husband, and now 2 dogs. They're massive dogs. But, it's just always good to see your friends kind of go down the path that they really want.
And all of us strangers can, too, because the power of social media.
Exactly.
I feel like I know
you guys
her.
are in our living room.
That's all we get to do is just kind of just friend you or whatever, and we can just kind of watch. Oh, hey, I like that. Let me know what's going on. So, I mean, again, we'll talk maybe later on in the show about that and the privacy or lack thereof, and we'll get to that. But back to a day in the life. So, okay, nothing changes, but guess what? You said it, injuries. Things happen. A few years ago, I think you had surgery on your jaw. We talked about 2 years ago during COVID. We had a Zoom. And same thing, you had an injury then. So talk to me about just injuries and the amount of time it takes to recover. With technology, though, I think sometimes you have recovery sleeves on your legs, and there's all kinds of stuff. So maybe just talk to injuries and how that affects the tour, the season, all that?
Yeah, I mean, we need to stop talking because I'm injured currently.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
no, I've been battling a back thing since January. I've hit a shot and popped my rib out and just been struggling through it. So I've definitely been taking a lot of time off and trying my best to get back to fighting form. But you just never know. I mean, some people are super lucky when it comes to their injuries and some people are just not. And that happens, I mean, you can't be perfect and you can't have it perfect in every aspect of your life. And this is just something that I deal with, and everyone has their own kind of trials and that they get over. And so
do you think it's because the game is more of an athlete's game now? And I'll go to Tiger Woods and his training regimen. And prior to Tiger Woods, again, you had Craig Stadlers, you had other PGA professionals that smoked cigarettes, on the round. This is going back to the Ben Hogan days. So now everyone knows that if you, you do your exercises and you just lift the weights or just whatever, there's golf specific training. And I'm going to call you Warrior Jess, okay? Gladiator. I think females, it's called Amazon, Wonder Woman. Okay. So serious like that, you battle. So whether that's because you want to spend another half an hour at the range, putting, maybe not going to, yank anything, a hip or a back out putting, but the rest of it. So is that because you're all uber competitors and you take it to that next level? Or is it, no, that's just the way different bodies are and people are more prone?
I think mix of two. I'm not the type of person that's not going to listen to my body. I've been injured way too many times for that. So for me, I definitely listen to what my body says. Sometimes I, will choose rest over something like, being in the gym or whatever it might be. I have a great team around me that understands kind of my body, sometimes better than I do, which is rather annoying. But, they're the ones kind of reining me in sometimes, and that's how it should be. That's why you have a team around you, and you really have to listen to yourself. I think maybe back in the day, we also didn't have club head speeds as fast as what we do now. We didn't play as much as we do now. We didn't travel as much as we do now. I think people forget that traveling, changing time zones, constantly being on the go, it wears on you, not just mentally, but also physically. And I mean, my injuries have come from literally just about everything. So it's not necessarily just golf, and I don't do anything stupid, but falling down the stairs, there goes your back. I swung a golf club and my rib popped out. Like, you sneeze and you throw something out. Like, you reach for a box of cereals and something can go out. Like, I mean, I've had a partial tear in my forearm because I had to travel with my own golf balls to Europe because we didn't have golf balls given to us there. And they were in the overhead, and I ripped my overhead suitcase out, and I guess it was just a bad angle, and there we go. So you just never know. It could be something stupid. It isn't just me hitting a golf
Well, hopefully
ball.
Johnny's got firm hands and he can give the massage. That's what a good husband should do. A good partner.
That's what you pay a physio for.
Right on. You want it done right, or you want it? I get it, 100%.
Hey guys, it's Brooke. I want to take a minute to talk to you about Dewey Stephan and his great team at Great Lakes Wealth. Do you feel overwhelmed managing your assets? Well, Great Lakes Wealth offers Wall Street solutions with Main Street values. That is really what they are all about. They will help you develop a custom financial plan utilizing all of your assets and keeping your goals in mind. That is what Great Lakes Wealth is all about, helping you and your family achieve your financial dreams. So go to greatlakeswealth.us to schedule an appointment today and tell them Brooke sent you.
All right, let's talk about golf a little bit more, and then we'll switch over to more on the personal side or outside of golf. But I'm curious as to what's left. What are your focuses? Are they winning majors? Are they just winning? I mean, I don't know what else it would be, but what goals do you have left on the LPGA Tour? What brings you here? By the way, we're in Grand Rapids, Michigan for a tournament this week. But what is it on the course on during the season on the LPGA that lights a fire in your belly?
Obviously winning. I mean, I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't want to win or didn't think I could win. You sacrifice so much time being away from home, and your body is tired from the work that you're putting in to not come out here and want to win, So definitely that. Obviously, putting myself in contention. It's so much fun to be like that rush that you get, coming down the stretch when you know that you have a chance or you're chasing someone. down for a title. Those are just like some of the greatest moments. You pulling off these shots that like, you've seen on TV that maybe Tiger has pulled off or whatever. You just, you replay certain things in your head. You're like, that was really cool. I did that. So it's moments like that. And then obviously just creating memories. I've been out here for a really long time, obviously, but that drive never ends.
What I tell my friends when I compete, and I belong to a place in Detroit called the Detroit Athletic Club, and I used to play golf, and then I started playing basketball, and I started playing squash, and I started playing racquetball. And so I tell my friends, I have enough friends. I don't have enough championships. Okay, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to win championships. So I understand, and there's something that if you understand that's enough.
Yeah.
That's truly enough. Okay, so with the LPGA, before we segue to something else, who are your idols on the LPGA, or who were they when you were baby Jess? And then also, who are any nemesis rivals, or, let's get into the LPGA GOAT, original gangsta, OG. Give me some of the names that come to mind.
I think you're trying to stir the pot here. I actually, it's not funny, but funny enough, I didn't know
Start with
much.
Nelly, right? Let's start with your sis.
Well, I was going to say, I didn't really know much growing up about the LPGA Tour. I knew more, obviously, about the PGA Tour, Tiger Woods, and, like, all that stuff. I thought I was going to be playing in the Masters, and, like, the PGA Tour was, like, I didn't think of myself as maybe as a girl, or I don't know. I was very tomboyish, and I was just like, I'm going to play, like, golf against the guys. So that's all I did growing up. And then I was on a Junior Solheim Cup team, and Nancy Lopez was our captain. I got to know Nancy. I got to know Patty Sheehan. I got to know Pat Bradley. It was so cool from not knowing who these women were really to then, like, opening up these floodgates of watching them play, on tapes. And then Annika, obviously, Lorena, obviously, Yanni Sang. Those were some of the women that I loved watching when I was growing up. It was really cool as a junior playing in U.S. Women's Open and, being in the locker room with Morgan Pressel, and she knew who I was. And I was like 15 years old, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. So I had some great women around me growing up, watching the game of golf once I realized who everybody was and made it to like the U.S. Women's Open. It was really, really cool. And now the people that drive me are my friends, are the great players that I have out here. My sister being one of them. Obviously, I always credit her for reviving my career. This is a very, very lonely place. And I was traveling by myself with, again, at the time, there weren't very many young girls out here. And so it was tough to kind of figure out how I fit into this huge puzzle that is the tour. And having her come out, it just really helped me revive me as a person and also in my career.
And I don't want to stir the pot, but when I watch women's golf and I watch the LPGA Tour, literally whoever wins, everyone who's stuck around, like the final three groups or whatever other players are around, they literally all come up and hug the winner and they high five. And I mean, I don't know if they're spraying water, but looks like everyone really is celebrating and supportive. I get that deep down, whoever just lost by the putt or whatever, they're a little salty or just a little bit, shocked. But I don't see that on the men's tour for sure. And is that half real, half not, or is it 100% real? Is it kind of, I don't know, everyone's just kind of be polite, the golf clap of the ladies tour maybe? What can you give me a little color on that?
Well, I would say that the men do it as well. They're just not. They're waiting for them by the scoring or whatnot. It's real. It is real. We're always so happy if one of our friends wins, or we want great golf to win. We want people to be entertained, and you appreciate that no matter who you are. If you finished 60th or if you finished second, you wanted that battle to come down. You want those people to feel what you kind of feel, and you want it to be entertaining. So yeah, I think it's very, very real on our tour. I mean, I get really excited. I was just watching my friend Jody. She had a chance to win. She eagled the last hole, missed out on the playoff. And I was like, what are you doing to me? I'm over here, stressing about you, and I'm at home, and you're over there. She's like, it's because you love me. And I was like, yeah, I do.
That's so awesome.
So, you're still each other's biggest fans, because at the end of the day, we want great golf to win, and these girls are our family, we travel. It's like a huge traveling circus. Sometimes can feel like a really big mess, but it is a huge traveling circus, and some of your best friends are here.
Besides your sister, and maybe she is one, but do you have a rival out here? Again, a friendly rival. It doesn't have to be someone you want to, hope has a flat tire and doesn't make it to the first tee.
God, no.
But I mean, do you have, competitiveness with one or two, ladies other than your sister, or maybe it is her?
The golf course every single week.
Okay.
I mean, this is not a one-on-one, head-to-head match play. Like, nothing I do is going to affect the other person unless it's like, I don't even know, it's just worst case scenario. But I'm trying to beat the golf course and trying to do the best that I can because, again, nothing that they do is going to affect me and nothing I really do unless I, start burning every hole and somehow get into their head. But at that time, I'm concentrating on what I'm trying to do. The golf is hard enough. There's so many elements to golf already that the last thing I need to be doing is playing mind games out there when the rest of the field isn't anywhere near my pairing. For me personally, no, I don't. I feel that every single week I'm trying to beat the golf course and put together the best score that I possibly can. And at the end of the day, if that beats the players, great. If not, I'm going to try again. But when you get into a match play situation, oh yeah, you want that person to go down.
Right.
And by that back nine, you're thinking about food. And you're like, okay, what hole is the closest to the clubhouse? So that's usually how that goes.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you're right, the golf course. And this is for all the wannabe golfers out there or wannabe better golfers out there. Don't focus on beating the person in your group. Focus on your score and whatever that is, hitting par, beating par, whatever your goal for the hole, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, we're going to switch gears. We're slowly going to segue kind of with golf, but moving away a little bit. Your father has been known to preach quality over quantity. Have you heard this?
Yeah, a couple times.
Okay. And you've been known to say, prove it with practice. Have you also heard of this? And there's also a quote that I found from you, Jess, which is, I believe patience is key, not only to practice in golf, but also in life.
Yep.
So with that, how has quality over quantity changed as you've gotten older and with these injuries on golf, but in life and the things, whether that's outside, business ventures or just your free time with your husband and Charlie. So just proving it with practice, even outside of the golf course. Maybe it's talking to mom about cooking some dishes. I don't know.
That was COVID. That was during COVID. I was like, oh my God, I have to cook now. How do we do this? No more takeout.
You should say, what do we do?
Yeah. Well, I literally called my mom. I was like, what do we do? I'm not even kidding.
Love it.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, quality over quantity has been something that has been drilled into us from a very young age. Still to this day with whatever it is. I'm not going to spend 4 hours in a gym just because I like the people in there. I'm going to go in, do my work, and then leave. And same thing, it also transfers into my friends is I actually enjoy quality time with them, and I don't need to be around them every single day. In a sense, I also enjoy being a hermit and not leaving my house. Being with Charlie and my husband is just, it's so nice to be able to kind of unwind from the daily stresses that we have and just be at home. But with injuries and stuff, you just learn that, what you need to put into it. That coming out here and beating a bunch of balls and being bent over for a bunch of hours on the putting green, it's just not what's going to push me to be better. It's just going to push me to be hurting the next day. So I try to do the things that I know are going to prepare me the best to go out there and, shoot a great score. And obviously that has been trial and error. Sometimes I've done too much and my body has hated it. And sometimes I did too little to where I didn't feel like I was prepared. There's definitely that happy medium, and everyone's medium is different. And that transfers into life and into just about anything that you do. If you're all into work, obviously your personal life hurts. And if you're all into personal life, your bank account hurts. So there's a happy medium in everything. And for everyone, it's something else.
Absolutely. Do you think that the younger you are, the more you're supposed to have quantity over quality? And then as you get older, stop and smell the roses or look at your trophy, stop and look at your swag. I don't know, whatever.
It's different. When you're younger, it's more detail oriented. I feel like the older you are, the more it's about playing the game. You already have all this experience of the details. You've done it a million times over and over again. And now it's trusting yourself, trusting your body to do what it needs to do. Muscle memory, you hear gymnasts talk about it all the time. I think Simone Biles always has been saying that she goes into the gym and does this routine over and over and over and over again. And she might fail a couple times, but she'll get back up on the beam and do it all over again. And then when she gets to big competitions, you know, your body just takes over and knows the motions that it needs to do. So it's very similar to that in golf, where you've done this thing over and over again, and now it's kind of just trusting yourself and letting your body kind of take over. But with golf, obviously, your mind takes over sometimes and not so successful.
No, but that's it, right? If you have to play around, then you can just go to the range, and you're not trying to maybe, fix anything. You're not the range the day before your round in the tournament is not to really to fix something. Maybe you have to put a Band-Aid on something if it's not working that morning. But in general, right, it's just to get loose and just to get that repetition and get your body in sync with your mind.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some of the worst warm-ups. I'm talking worst warm-up you've ever seen.
Like Hazel Shanks?
No, that's not that bad. But like for a professional.
I mean, you could say one or two.
It was I've won a tournament shanking it. So shanked at OB and still ended up winning, which is quite nice. Not something I want to repeat, but it did happen. But it was worst warm up. Like couldn't hit the target. I mean, it was like Army golf, left, right. It was terrible. And I looked at my caddy, I handed him back the club, and I go, I have no idea what we're going to have today, so let's just be surprised. And I ended up shooting some of the best rounds, I even I've won like that because you just go out there, you're no expectation at the time, and you just let her rip, and that's kind of how it is sometimes.
Grip it and rip it.
Yeah.
That's it. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it probably doesn't, but ride it if it's working, right?
Exactly.
That's great. All right, we're going to switch again. I want to know about Charlie. I'm familiar with Charlie, but Justin Thomas once reshared an Instagram story saying Jessica's second career is a dog sitting service. Have you heard of this? I'm not sure if you're
So when Justin and his fiance Jill got Franklin, Charlie was the first dog that Franklin met. Was like 8 weeks old, and they became instant best friends. And at the time I was like, I want another dog. And so I kept begging him. I'm like, if you guys leave, like, let me take care of him. And again, this is during COVID, like Franklin's a COVID dog. So I was like, I'm not doing anything. Like, let me take care of him. And it was so much fun. Like watching Frank go up and down the stairs for the first time, and the two of them just outside in the backyard. And it is so much easier to have two dogs because you don't have to play with the one all the time, and they kind of just play together, tire each other out, and then you get double the snuggles. So they're such snugglers. Like Franklin's such a good boy, and with Charlie, it's just so much fun to have them around. So now I tell Justin and Jill if they ever put Franklin into like doggy daycare or whatever when I'm home, I will never speak to him again.
Right. You guys live in the same town.
Yeah.
Okay. That's awesome. What else? So let's talk about your life in a fishbowl. Let's talk about with the social media. I got to learn that you are going to be the world's best dog sitter after your LPGA career is over because of this thing called social media. I talked earlier today, starting the show, about our Instagram, our Facebook, our Spotify, our Apple iTunes with the podcast, TikTok. That's the new one. But your life in a fishbowl, like it, want to leave it. It's okay in moderation. I think I was watching another interview. You called it the keyboard warriors or something. So I know probably the cliche answer is, you wish you didn't have to do it, but it's part of the deal. But I don't know, maybe give us your raw comments that it's all in, all out, or, playing the game.
I mean, I started with it all in. I loved it. It was great. And then, I don't know, a couple of years ago, it like turned to this, like, people got really mean. And so I also just stopped putting a lot content out there. And then I decided to just put out what I wanted to put out, not necessarily everything in my life, but it just pieces here and there, because I still want to be connected. It's still really cool to connect with people that normally you wouldn't, that they maybe don't have the opportunity to come out to LPGA Tour events. I've also met some really, made some great friendships through it as well, and connected with other athletes through social media. So it's been really cool, and obviously sponsors love it. It's an extra reach and stuff like that. So it obviously has its benefits, but obviously there's always a downside to just about everything in life, and the keyboard warriors being one of them. But my favorite button is block. And now you can block any account that they make on literally anything. So, I just use that a decent amount. But yeah, I like being able to put stuff out there to make us more normal, I guess. I think as normal people, I look at it from other athletes as well. Like for me, the ultimate athlete to me was always Lindsey Vonn. Someone that was always injured but picked herself up and freaking sent herself down a mountain with like nothing holding her knees in. So insane. But to me, she's like the ultimate athlete, and it's cool to see her normal. It's I love watching her dogs, like walking them and going on hikes with them and seeing like the hustle that she has now with her businesses. So it's cool to just see the other side of the person, that it's not just this like person that you put on a pedestal. They are human and they do normal things just like we do. So it's cool.
And again, you can use it to promote causes. You can promote who you are. If the Kardashians, you can go out there, but you can also use it for your brand, whether that's your family brand, sharing Charlie and what you're doing, all in. It could just be all golf all the time. I have seen you with your sponsors, you promote their goods and services on it. That's part of the biz, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so you're able to do that and maybe catch a bigger audience, a bigger reach. But certainly everyone knows that the downside are those people that take it too seriously, and that whether they comment every day in your world is probably like directed at you or things you didn't do that ruin their lives somehow, right? But politics for the everyday person out there, it's politics, it's religion, it's stuff that's they just want to pick fights with people. And so I
think the biggest thing is the takeaway from all of it is, if you wouldn't say it to my face, don't say it on social media. I think it's easier for them to hide behind that keyboard. That's why they're called keyboard warriors. But I would like to have them say that to my face maybe once or twice and see how that goes for just about anyone.
Right. Take on Jessica Warrior with all the, with her gladiator status.
That's why there's a block button. And then after that, they just disappear where they... Doesn't bother you.
Yeah. And we talked a little bit, again, before the show about your philanthropy and your charitable causes. And again, you said you keep them, close to the vest, and you're not someone who's trying to get extra attention. You are an ambassador for the game of golf, for women's golf, for women, for ladies, for girls, for business, entrepreneurs, and all of that. But I'd like to just let you give a shout out. I know from talking beforehand, like I said, I always see you celebrating our servicemen and women at tournaments. So maybe just touch on that, or anything else, related to just, those out there that we want to celebrate.
Yeah, no, I mean, I always say thank you for your service, and just talk to our men and women in service, keeping us safe and everything. They're putting their lives on the line for us to be able to live a free life, in a sense. So anytime I get to see anyone in the service, I always say my thanks, and current, past, and maybe even some present. But I've had a friend that was in the service, so it's cool to also hear kind of the stories of behind the scenes, and it's a really tough life. So yeah, every time I get to see someone, I just want them to know that they're appreciated, and that everything that they are doing isn't going unnoticed, and that they're not just checking a box.
That's so important. And we haven't had, the military exercises, since COVID. But, when everyone came back from Afghanistan, there was just, the commentary was that they came home and they were, just left to be by themselves to figure it out post all of the wars that had happened. So it's important, absolutely, to thank them and to celebrate them. So I agree 100% with that. So all you podcast listeners out there, make sure when you see a veteran or you see an active service member that you do thank them, appreciate them for their service.
Absolutely.
Yes. So we're going to segue now. Okay, Jess. We're gonna end the show in a few minutes with some quick tips for the golfers out there. I'm going to give you some just rapid fire, one tip, one trick, change your game for life from Jessica Korda. But before we do that, we're going to segue to my favorite part of the show. Okay. The show is called What Do We Do? We talk about what do we do. This is not about what I would tell people to do to invest for success or be healthy, wealthy, and wise. This is an episode as a leader that you are. We call it What Jessica Do. And what would Jessica Korda tell her 18-year-old self or 18-year-old young ladies and gentlemen out there today to live their best life?
I would just say trust yourself. I think a lot of the time you doubt a lot of things, especially being young, really going into it, not knowing, and the unknown can scare you. But I think trusting your gut and then going out with a very open mind and saying yes to opportunities is really key.
Awesome. Okay, so with that, we're going to get back to golf to wrap it up. I'm going to let you give a shout out to your sponsors, and specifically, we'll start with golf. I want to know what's in your bag. I want to know what's on your feet. I want to know what kind of skull cap you have ready to go for those 7 a.m. starts when it's a little chilly. And then if you want to talk about what kind of water you're drinking or what kind of watch you're wearing, you can kind of get into it. But let's talk about the golf bag 2022, including the balls.
Yeah, so I am a Titleist ambassador, so I literally have 14 clubs of Titleist. Obviously, Scotty Cameron putter, you can't forget that. My golf ball is also Titleist. Shocking, I know.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, 1. Don't use 4s, never have. Don't like them. They're my practice golf balls. They're an awesome partner. I'm head to toe FootJoy now as well, which has been really cool to kind of add their first professional ambassador, female ambassador, which is really, really cool to work with the team to kind of redesign the line a little bit, add things that I've learned that I feel like, women need on a golf course and use, especially pockets. Man, pockets are just so underrated. And just add just a little twist to it. So I'm really excited about that brand partnership. It's fairly new, and I've had some fantastic partners that have been with me, like Franklin Templeton has been with me forever. Obviously, Mutual of Omaha has been with me for a while. A new company that I really love is Live Pure. It's a really, really yummy electrolyte drink. Being out on the golf course in the heat for hours at a time, you kind of learn what's good and what isn't, and what has too much sugar, what makes you drop, what makes your levels drop. And this has been something that I have loved learning about, especially the last couple of years. So yeah, it's been awesome to be surrounded by amazing brands, and especially the partners that I've had for a long time. They honestly do feel like family. And
you said it earlier, it takes a team, and that is your team, right?
Oh, yeah.
We say team at our firm. Together, everyone achieves more. Everyone else out there says the same thing. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yep.
It's so true. But together, everyone achieves more. Let's go 2022 with a new twist on team. Okay, we're going to go into some fast, rapid fire about things that our non-pro golfers can do to improve their game without actually having to go get a half an hour lesson. Okay, so what are 1 or 2 of the biggest mistakes you see amateur golfers make?
Try to hit the ball too hard. You do not practice enough to try to do that, nor do you work out enough to do that.
Swing smooth.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. What is one thing that our young adult golfers, the millennials that are just starting out but want to catch on to this game called golf, what is one thing they can do to score better?
Millennials or Gen Z?
Gen Z. All right, let's go. Let's go.
I'm a millennial.
All right, let's go Gen Zs. You got me.
For them, I mean, honestly, it's practice, but make it fun. It's still a game. Hit those shots. Try to shape the golf ball in the driving range and get consistent everything. Your putting, whether it's just gripping the club, but get consistent at that. But have fun doing it. You know, go out there and play with your friends. Play an up and down match it could be literally push-ups. Just make sure it's for something. You want to feel those competitive juices flowing and that pressure of having to win. You know, there's nothing worse than going out there and feeling nothing and just doing the work. Because then when you do get, under the gun or you're in a tournament, all of a sudden you have these feelings that you've never had before and you don't know how to deal with it.
Absolutely. Is there a difference in what an amateur or up-and-coming woman golfer should focus on, or a man, Gen Z boy man, young man, whether their approach to the long drive. So let's say that. So to the young golfers out there, to improve their drive, is there something for a woman, something for a man that's different, or it's the same?
No, because golf is such I would say, genderless sport. Obviously, we have a women's tour and we have a men's tour, but when it comes to the golf, it's all the same. We practice the same. We try to hit the same shots. Obviously, men have way more speed than women, so they can pull off a lot more, especially when it comes to spin. But the men are so jealous of how straight we hit it and how consistent we are. So, it's awesome to learn from both. I think the biggest thing is go out there and play together. I loved competing with the guys. I thought that was so much fun. And as an 8-year-old, I was always told that if I wanted to play with the boys, I had to play off the back tees. And I think that's why I love, long golf courses, and I hit it far, and the competitiveness is in me because I always wanted to beat the boys.
Yeah. The men always want to have a female swing, woman's swing, and the women always just want to have the men's length, right? So
yeah, more just like the ability to move the golf ball the way that they do and create the spins that they do. Watching JT hit some of the highest irons I've ever seen. Like, I know I can't do that. I've never seen a girl do that. I thought you were going
with the Bubba Watson, with the carving to the right, carving to the left.
I mean, that's just another example. Like, Bubba's shot, playing Augusta National, you go and look and where he hit that shot from. And I actually told him at Solheim, I was like, I have no idea how you did that. Like, lefty or righty. Like, it is insane, the stuff that they can do. And these golf balls aren't easy to shape. It's not like back in the day, where you really could shape these golf balls. This is a lot harder. So it's incredible to watch. And just like we're amazed by them, they're always amazed by us. It's always really fun. They say that they've never seen somebody hit as many fairways as we do and be as consistent and plot our way around a golf course. And it's cool to be able to kind of take what they have and try to do it, and then they try to be a little bit like we are, and it's a nice little balance between us.
100%. Okay, so a few more. So what is one thing that amateur golfers can do directly to drive better?
Obviously, it's practice.
Okay.
Get a lesson. Make sure your fundamentals are right. If you don't know where you're aiming, how can you possibly try to hit it hard or anywhere in the fairway? Put an alignment stick down and figure out where you're trying to aim the golf ball first. If your body's going 50 yards left and you're trying to hit it 50 yards right, you're going to have a problem. So make sure everything's squared up and go from there.
Okay. And then putting. What's one thing that the listeners out there can do today to be better putters?
Feel. Don't try to ram it in. Every golf course that you're going to go to is going to be different. It's going to have different speeds, different grass, all that fun stuff. So go on the putting green and hit a couple putts. Really feel them in instead of trying to ram them in. That's the biggest mistake I see people make is their speed on their greens.
They say that 100% of putts that are short don't go in.
Yeah, but how many 6-footers can you make?
Booyah, right back at you. Great. So the final question I have, then we're going to wrap up, is in the older days, it used to be drive for show and putt for dough. Well, I've read articles lately, and whether that's because of Bryson and other long hitters out there, that if you actually do the math and figure it out, it actually is, you got to keep that drive, in the fairway, but it's drive for the dough and then putt for, extra dough or something like that.
Yeah.
Right. So what are your thoughts on the drive for show, putt for dough versus driving sets you up to have that short game win it?
I think the way our golf courses are set up, it's still the same. Drive for show, putt for dough.
Okay.
what Bryson is doing is just completely out of this world. It's so out there. He's the 1% of the 1%. He might even be 0.5% of the 0.5%. It's honestly so admirable what he's doing, and the fact that he can actually hit it straight and control it is mind blowing. So yeah, he's not somebody that I would idolize to do that. I would still like to play within myself, and, hit as many fairways and give myself as many opportunities as I can, especially with a fragile body like mine. You don't need me winding and unwinding with extra stiff shafts. So I think to each their own. But when it comes to putting, it's definitely always going to be putt for dough, because you're standing over that putt to win. You're not standing over your driver to win.
Love it. That's so true. All right. You heard it here first, podcast listeners. With Jessica, anything to wrap up? Anything you'd like to say? The audience is yours. This mic is yours. Anything you want to say before we go?
I mean, I'm good. All I would say is just thanks for listening to us for the last hour.
Heck yeah. This is number 63 and number 21 of season 2. With that, Jessica Korda, you're amazing. You are a warrior. And at 29 years old, and with what you've done so far, as we say on our show, we're just getting started. And I think you're just getting started. Thanks for being here, Jess. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for having me.
Booyah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, do it.
One more time.
Booyah.
There we
That's
go.
it. All right. Well, everyone, we're back in the studio after that amazing interview with Jessica Korda. Again, a big thank you to Jess for taking time out of her busy schedule, preparing for her golf tournament to spend a few minutes with us. We want to welcome Brooke back. Brooke, good to see you.
You too, Dewey. And what an amazing run season 2 has been. We've had some 21 episodes, right?
Yes.
And 9 guests that have been with us on this What Do We Do podcast.
They say time flies when you're having fun.
Exactly.
And it's certainly been one heck of a ride, and it's hard to believe that season 2 is wrapping up.
Time for summer fun.
Summertime. And you said we had 9 guests.
Yes, 9.
Right?
Yeah.
So we started with Kevin O'Leary.
Yep.
Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. And then after Kevin, we actually had our first interview with you. Mm-hmm. Got to learn a little bit about Brooke Allen and the Twinkies.
And my Twinkies.
And then we kind of got into it with Mr. Detroit Radio, Mike Valenti. Mike, my man. And then we went on Charlotte Alex from Beaumont. We also had Tom Chelani, was one of our most recent guests in studio. He was fantastic.
Yeah. And Linda Wagner, one of my favorites, right?
Linda Schlesinger Wagner. She's my favorite. She's my favorite.
You're not wearing pink. You were supposed to be wearing pink.
She sent us this amazing care package, and in there were 2 skinny tees that were pink. And they weren't addressed to anyone. So I thought those were the 2, men tank tops.
They weren't.
I put it on, and I got like the little girdle effect, and I messaged her. I said, "Is this the right size?" She laughed at those smiley laughing emojis and said, "That's a girl's tee." And I said, "Oh, okay. Well, I guess I'm stronger than I thought. Bigger. I got to stop hitting the gym." But
sad Linda, I missed that.
Linda was amazing. She sent to our entire team of all the women in our office and all the women in our lives. She sent us a wonderful care package, and what an amazing story she had. So we appreciated her being on for sure. Right. David Provost, one of my biggest mentors, friends. David was a fantastic guest, and he was so generous with his time as well. Mark Reith, another friend of mine from Atwater, no longer at Atwater. He decided to move on and go do something else. So his actual last official interview as the president of Atwater Breweries was with us.
That's awesome.
So that's pretty fantastic too. Mark, we know you're killing it now. And, I'll see you this summer on the golf course for sure. We had Austin Hatch. Did we mention him already?
Hatch, yeah.
Austin was great. And I think that might be 9. Kevin O'Leary, Mike Valenti, Charlotte Alex from Beaumont Children's Hospital and the Children's Miracle Network, Tom Chelani, Jessica Korda. You're a star. Austin Hatch, Linda Schlesinger Wagner, David Provost, and Mark Reith. Woo! Time flies when you've got big dogs in the studio and on the golf course and on TV.
And
Mr.
bowling
O'Leary,
and doing whatever you're doing.
Yeah, heck yeah. Well, it's been a tremendous season. And we do. All of our listeners and our viewers, we want to thank you, each and every one of you, for listening, for viewing, spending time with us, encouraging us, subscribing, downloading, sharing. We are over 40,000 downloads and over 300,000 all views on social media. It's insane what's happening with the podcast. We're so blessed.
It's been so much fun, and obviously, you're the expert, the financial expert, but I've learned a lot, and it's just been so great. So thank you.
Well, we appreciate you and your efforts of bringing us the topics du jour. And again, we want to, thank everyone. And we're going to see you in the fall. But the summer will be some highlights, some clips, some best ofs. And then we'll be back with some changes we're working on season 3. And stay tuned. We'll be back with what we come up with when we finish figuring it out.
Right.
Stay tuned. And with that, we'll see everyone in September for season 3. Until then.
Hey,
we're just getting started.
The opinions expressed in this program are for general information purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or any specific security. It's only intended to provide education about the financial industry. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. Any indices referenced for comparison are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. As always, please remember investing involves risks and possible loss of principal capital. Please seek advice from a licensed professional.